Welcome back to the KC Show, your life, your town, your show. Now, back with your hosts, Kyle and Mike. Oh my goodness, it has been a while. I figured out, I kind of forgot how to start this thing up, man. It's been a while since I've sat in this seat. Every time I usually go live, I got my little camera, my little microphone, and already ding-a-linging right off Facebook. And we're live. You can delete that, Jerry said. I sure will. What is going on, everybody? How are y'all? Enjoying your Friday night until now, maybe. We're going to chit chat for a few minutes. I've missed y'all, and Jerry kind of beat me to the punch. I was going to go live, talk about a few things, and Jerry did a little test of his equipment, basically, and he kind of beat me to the punch. I was in there making some shirts, and wanted to talk about a few things. Definitely things that's going on in the news, but you know, talk about Tuesday, what's to come, and what's happened since really the last time I've went live. Last time I really went live was talking about the situation with a sheriff candidate. Not even going to mention the name. I told him it is a Jamie Davis write-off, and once you're on that list, your name usually does not come up too much more after that. But the last time I was live, it was in dealing with the sheriff's race and a candidate, and tempers flaring, but we're beyond that. We're past it. We're done. Water over the bridge or over the dam, under the dam, wherever it goes. I was quite proud of the town, not only for voting for change, but also the turnout. The turnout was absolutely massive, and it was awesome. Hey, Stacy, how are y'all? Hey, John, Angela, Kelly, how are y'all? Little Friday night thing, man. I doubt many people are going to pop on, but we're going to talk about a few things. Just kind of jump back into the water head first. Don't forget the election's Tuesday. We'll still try to bring that live. The internet over there is rough, so we're going to try to make sure we bring that live to you. I'll do everything I can. I'll figure something out. Hopefully it won't be as bad as last time. I doubt their internet has changed since then. So more than likely we'll probably have a few issues, but the election won't last as long because there's only one runoff. It's going to be pretty quick. So hopefully it won't be a very long broadcast. Good luck to Carl. Good luck to Jeff. Both of them great candidates. I enjoy both of them. They're both stand-up guys. They both try to do what's right. Nobody's perfect. There's no such thing. They are what this town needs right now. They're doing a lot of sacrificing, personal sacrificing. Same as Tom, and so is the others. They're doing a lot of personal sacrificing, but just use your phone. We'll work over through. Yeah, I'll probably have to do that. Probably have to do that, unfortunately. But the person that's taking Sam White's place is the person that's actually right up under Sam White. That is Robbie. Just popped. His name was in my head, and it just. I know it's Robbie. I just can't remember his last name. I'm sure somebody's going to pop it in here. I have never personally met Robbie. Robbie is going to be the intern. Now, whether or not he chooses to want that job full time, that'll be remain to seen. We have no idea. He may want it. He may not. Trust me, sometimes it's better not to be on top of the pyramid. I've been there, done that, and sometimes it's better to kind of be that foundation right up under. Now, again, he may be very excited to take upon the opportunity, and we wish him the best of luck. And McGee, thank you. I knew it. How could I forget that? Can I vote? Live in Lockhart, but don't have a SC driver's license yet? No. Unfortunately, you cannot vote. You have to be a resident of the town, state, of course. You need to get to the voter registration as soon as possible. That way you can take part in the November election, but unfortunately, you won't be able to vote in this one. I wish you could, but can we talk about Pea Ridge Highway? It has to be completed May 31st. Now it's August. Is awful. Something needs to be done. Who was telling me about that? Somebody was telling me about that. Yeah, we're there. I hope I'm not talking about the same thing, but Mama called me. She was on her way to Lake Greenwood, and there's a bridge out headed toward Clinton, and they had to try to find a way around to get to Lake Greenwood, which was a pain in the butt. When that bridge is out, you literally got to go around the world. So so that's the problem. Chris, you're replying to CC. If she's registered, she can, but she has to be registered in this town. You have to be registered in this state and this town to be able to participate in the vote. Otherwise, you could just go across the country and vote in every town, every place. You got to vote where you're registered. That's why you have like certain locations based on your address. But if her driver's license is based in another state, obviously she ain't gonna be able to vote here. Can we talk about people using turn signals? Yes, Jerry, we can definitely talk about that too. Before we get into that, let's get into the rough stuff just for a second. The stuff that people don't want to talk about, but want to talk about and want to hear somebody talk about, but yet don't want to be a part of the conversation to talk about it. The situation with this movement that's happening with the racial tension, racial division, to me, some of it is for the right cause, some of it ain't. Looting and beating up white people just because they're white, it's not going to get what you want. And I can say this, I am incredibly ashamed of Atlanta Police Force. To charge a police officer with murder who was being attacked, guys, you can twist it, turn it any way you want. This gentleman took this guy's gun, his taser, which in Atlanta, can't speak for anywhere else, but in Georgia, a taser is considered a lethal weapon. So, as I've talked to other, sheriff candidates, other police, they say they have stages in reactions. And once your weapon is being grabbed for, that's about as high as it gets. Now, they don't necessarily mean that they'll use lethal force just because somebody's trying to grab at their gun, but they are on the precipice of doing that. And rightfully so, because let me tell you something. This cop did not go and seek this guy. He didn't go out and find this man. This man was drinking and driving. The cop did exactly what he was supposed to. He's getting him off the road so he doesn't possibly kill your friend, your family, or you. Drinking and driving is one of the most deadliest things on this freaking earth, really. But in America, one of the biggest death-related car accidents is DUI. So the cop is doing what he's supposed to do. You can hear it in the background. He's being very polite. He tells him to put his hands behind his back. Everything's going kosher. And then all of a sudden, this guy who is drunk, it's not an excuse, but he is drunk, goes for the guy's gun and instead grabs his taser. Now, I'm going to stop there just for a second. If we really want to talk about some change, listen, I've seen the cops, belts and everything and how they got everything strapped down. They got a strap for the gun. Looks like they got a strap for the taser as well. Maybe those straps, maybe they aren't good enough. The fact that, again, now, if you want to get something, you'll get it, but it seemed a little easy for that guy to get that weapon. But, the officer could have possibly already had it unstrapped just in case things went south. So this guy takes the taser from what I see. He takes the taser, and now he has a weapon. And everybody's like, well, he can't kill him with a taser. Yes, you can. You shoot somebody in the face with a taser, could kill you. But let's just say for goodness sake, let's just say he shoots him and he doesn't kill him. But guess what he does? He puts the officer in a paralyzation. Your body's paralyzed. You can't move. Your motor skills are gone. Guess what? Guess what the suspect can do then? If he's willing to shoot him with a taser, he's willing to shoot him probably with a gun. Do I know that? No, I don't. But I'm going to ride that train and say that he probably would have. So let's just say he shot the cop with the taser. The cop is immobilized. He runs over there, grabs the cop's gun. Boom, boom. That cop ain't going home to his family. If he got kids, they'll never see their daddy anymore. All because somebody doesn't want to handle the consequences, other choices of drinking and driving. You cannot take up for somebody like this and expect the fact that you want your message to be heard and respected. You cannot defend somebody drinking and driving and then attacking an officer. Resisting arrest, taking the officer's weapon. He could have took a hostage. He could have killed somebody drinking and driving. He could have did all these things. These are things that we cannot support. I don't care what color he was. I could care less. Don't care about that. What I care about is that now this officer is being arrested and charged with murder. He didn't murder that guy. That guy had that taser pointed back. Like I say, who knows what kind of damage he could have done? Could he kill somebody? Sure, he could have killed somebody with a taser. It's an electrical charge. Kill somebody. In a lot of states, it's considered a lethal weapon. And this is why we got to be able to come to the table and talk, but we got to be fair on both sides. And here's my question. I got a couple of questions, actually. Why is it that the news only wants to show black people being killed? There's more white people on the planet. There's more white people in America. And the FBI statistics show that more white people are killed by the cops every year. Why aren't we being shown if we're being killed? You know why? Because they're playing to the fiddle. They're playing to people's emotions. People need to check out of that TV, talk, quit hurting people, quit fighting people, and damn sure quit judging me. I seen a preacher on Facebook the other night sitting here judging because if somebody's got a Confederate flag, they're immediately racist. He's a preacher and he's judging people. It doesn't go hand in hand. There's nobody on this earth that can judge anyone else. Nobody. I'm not worried about what you do. As long as you're not harming me, I'm not worried about what you do. And you're not worried about what I do as long as I'm not harming you. We can be friends. We can be good friends. Don't care what your color is. I'll love you as long as you're treating people the way you want to be treated. Every day I talk to people that come in, I talk to them all. I treat them all the same. I don't care who they are, who they voted for, what color they are. I could care less. Everybody deserves respect. But you cannot go out and deem violence and want us to hear what you got to say and vice versa. If there was a bunch of white people, which I've seen in videos, a bunch of white people out there, they're harming the message themselves. Got to get the message out there more peacefully. Sit at the table, we talk. That's with anything, right? So, wanted to talk about that, and I see a lot of people talking about Jeff Bailey. I've seen some things about the candidates. Let's see here. Can you please explain to me why Jeff Bailey can't even be a fair judge without ruling for his friends or associates? I've seen this several times. Is he going to let his friends get away with breaking the law? Karen, do you have details? Do you got proof? Because that's the thing, guys. There's a lot of accusations. A lot of people, I've heard stories on Jeff. I've heard stories on Carl, Tom. Still getting stories on Taylor and Hines and Sherfield. I'm still getting stories on the guys. Still getting them. Patty doesn't know I'm live. That's awesome. Hey, I'm live. I'll call you back. All right. Yep. She don't never get the notification anymore, apparently. But we have got to we've got to be very careful. We can't. That's the problem. It is now just so easy that when let's just get down to brass tacks. When a black person is arguing with a white person, they don't agree on something. They want to deem the white person racist, or vice versa. They want to call the black person racist. Don't know the person in any way, shape, or form. We have a city council lady right now who, if you're white and you own a business, basically, you're being deemed a racist if you do not agree with what she says. Pamela Sloss. She is just awful. She divides this town instead of trying to bring it together. She divides everything. But it's catching up to her. And I'm not just talking about white people are starting to get tired of her crap. Black people are starting to get tired of her crap, which, thank God, we all should be tired of somebody like that who's not willing to come to the table and fix problems, but instead are creating problems using Facebook as her tool to separate people, to cause more madness, to cause more hate, instead of doing the damn job that the taxpayers pay you to do, which is help this damn town. Shut your mouth and do your job. That's what you should do. But instead, everybody, all these businesses, all you got to do is go to her page. It's business after business after business. But they're all white owners. I'm tired of it. Pamela Sloss is the worst excuse. I've had many black people who's come up here and said, the only time I ever hear from Pamela is every 3.5 years when it's time to get my vote. That's it. And they're tired of it. They see what you're doing on Facebook. They see you have no respect for people. Here's the worst part of it all. You've got a white man that you're putting up a wall for, protecting, making all these bad choices behind you, Joe Nichols. That's okay. You know, I know a black gentleman right now who's been working for the utility department for over 16 years. 16 years. You mean to tell me that he wouldn't qualify for the job that Mark Brown got? I personally know him. He's a great freaking guy. And I know he would do a damn good job. But see, that's okay. We're going to protect who protects Pamela. And then, what about over here? Wade Hampton pretty much got his foot pushed on his back out the door. It's a black gentleman. Where are you at on that, Pamela? He's a great judge. You cause chaos because you think it acquires votes for you. But you don't understand. You're pushing your own butt right out the door. And I love every second of it. Because, see, you jumped on that bandwagon and you tried to come after this boy right here. You tried to come after me and you tried to call me a racist. You didn't know who the hell I was. You didn't know who the hell you were dealing with. And you got railroaded, you got crossed up, and you got understood that you ain't going to walk on this guy right here. Now, other ones, they're scared of you. For what reason? You have no powers. You're absolutely worthless. You're one person in a 7-man group that you can't do nothing. You literally have that much power. And this much power of House. And really, truly, only thing you can pass is laws that are brought before the city council. You can't do anything. Joe Nichols is the one that has the power. He's the one making all these dumb decisions behind you that you're allowing to happen. Won't you do something about him? $150,000. And this man is ruining Union County. But see, so are you. Bad thing is that we're actually paying you to ruin this county. That's the sad part about it. I'm not going to say the name of their business because I promised I wouldn't, even though it's all over your page. You're going to come down on a business that you have no freaking idea what you're talking about. Good people. Let me tell you something. Damn good people who have given hundreds and probably thousands of dollars of donations to EMS, to the fire departments, to the police departments. Guess what? Black people work there. and you want to deem these people racist. You know why? Because they said all lives matter. That's why. You know, all lives matter. That includes yours, Pamela. That includes your life. Do you know that? But you're going to deem them racist. Instead, won't you roll your butt down there and won't you talk to them like a professional should do? You deemed yourself of higher morals. Why don't you roll yourself down there and talk to them? Won't you have a conversation? Why didn't you come have a conversation with me? You never had a conversation with me. You know why? Because you can't handle this conversation. Because you know why? Because this right here would be on the entire time. And guess what? You're not going to challenge anybody who has wits that's 3 times probably the size of yours. You are sitting here and you want to deem and separate this town, and you're going after the best people that we have in this town. People who choose to open and run businesses for all race in this town. Black, white, they don't care. They want to be a part of this town, and you have tried to single-handedly run off, I know, on the top of my freaking head, 6 businesses. You have tried to take out 6 businesses out of Union County. 6 businesses. Can Union County afford to lose 6 businesses? You don't know jack about running a town. Not nothing. You're stupid, you're reckless, and you're dangerous. You don't know nothing about running a town. Instead, you want to get to the problem. Why don't you go and talk to these people? Why didn't you come and talk to me? Confront me like an adult. See, you a coward. You stay behind that Facebook and you let that do your talking. Instead of you doing the job that you were hired to do, which was come and be a part of the community, help build the community up. Instead, you just want to alienate anybody who disagrees with you. And it doesn't have to be white people. I've seen you sit there and trash black people, but just because they didn't agree with you. You know you don't know everything, right? I'm pretty sure you should know that. That city council, guys, every single person on that city council, all of them. I don't care who they are. I don't care if you think they're a great person. They all need to go because they have tolerated. Guys, you got to understand, the mayor, and hell, let's even go to Joe Nichols, even though he says he has no power, no control. They are allowing Pamela Sloss to say and do the disgusting things she does on Facebook. You know how many times she's been brought up in a city council meeting? 0. You know why? One of them's her dad. Right? Father-in-law or dad. One of the 2. I can't remember. Either way, it's bad. That's problem number 1. The problem is that we're so busy trying to identify what your shortcomings are that you can't even identify your own. Or maybe you don't even think you have any to start with. See, I had a wonderful lady. When all that was happening with me, I had a wonderful lady who I did promise to get on the show, but we never really got to that point. I'm not going to say her name until she allows me to. She's a black lady. She's got a very successful black son. She come up here and she talked to me. And as we talked, guess what? Her opinion changed. At first, when she come up here, she wasn't sure what she thought about. After she left, she comes in here all the time now. She's one of my favorite customers, one of my best customers. She's a very sweet lady. That's how you handle a problem. But again, done with that. I just felt like that had to be said because you were not doing what your job is supposed to be. You don't sit here and try to run off business in a town that loses 1,000 people every 10 years. You do not run off businesses that literally are being strangled to death. You know, I had to pay almost $1,000 in taxes for 3 businesses for y'all to literally do nothing, for the city to do nothing. I paid almost $1,000 in taxes just simply because my building that I rent sits in the city. That's it. Y'all don't do nothing. The city does nothing for me. Y'all pick up my trash, I pay for that. Power, I pay for that. There's nothing literally that $1,000 goes toward other than just paying for people, paying $150,000 salary to Joe Nichols, and paying all those city council members. That's it. That's all it does. That is it. $1,000 to do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I just felt like that needed to come off my chest, and maybe you should be more. Maybe you should be a little bit more clear before you start running your mouth. Why don't you come on the show? I would love to have you on the show. Hell, I'd be willing to pay you to come on my show. People always, try to say what they want to say about me. I'm always up for a debate. I'm always up for one because you know what? I stand on what I know is the truth, and that's all I have. I tell everybody all the time, the truth is all I have. I don't have time to come up with a lie. I don't have time to come up with a lie for Pamela Sloss. Don't have time for that. Don't care to make time for that. But why don't you sit here and talk about something that matters, Pamela? Won't we talk about drug-related deaths? Talked to an officer today, just coming through, and we've had 3 cases of overdose in this week alone. Sounds like a serious freaking issue, don't it? In 1 week, 3 overdoses. 3 overdoses. 3. That is what matters. I don't, and you know what? Doesn't matter. I don't know what color they are. Don't care. Didn't ask. Don't care. I care that 3 people. Now, he didn't tell me that they passed away or not. They overdosed. Sometimes they have that shot. But if they did, it's 3 people gone because of an addiction. Something that you should be working to try to figure out. I will give Frank Hart the benefit of the doubt. He tried to bring a Suboxone clinic in here. It died. It was death. It was never going to work. You cannot cure an addiction by giving an addiction. He was not educated on it. He did not study up on it. It was more about money. And he even said that. I'll give Frank Hart the credit. At least he is a straight shooter when he does mess up. There's a lot of things he does good. There's a lot of things he does bad. But see, guys, there is so many bad things that's happening in this town. But things that can be fixed with a little bit of attention. And then, I tried to have a debate not too long ago, but unfortunately, the regulations and stuff with the COVID, does anybody else not notice that COVID is affecting every kind of gathering, church and beyond, every gathering except protests? Every single thing has to have some sort of requirement. Either you can't have 50 more people, you got to wear a mask at all times, gloves, you got to have all this. But protesting is absolutely fine. Tell me there's not an agenda here somewhere. And I'm talking to everybody. Somebody has got to go. Even people who are out there protesting. You mean to tell me there was nobody out there that went, Look at all these people. So this is okay. But going to church is wrong. We're just now getting the regulations off church. Do you mean to tell me nobody went, this don't seem right? This don't seem right. Why are we being allowed to do this when people can't go to church and worship a God and try to live a better life? Right? It's an agenda. It's an agenda being ran by people who can run this country. Everybody wants to blame Trump. That's fine. Blame Trump. I don't care. But you can't blame Trump without blaming the other forms of government, people who have been sitting there in that job for 30 plus years. Guys, you mean to tell me that they hadn't figured out in 30 plus years what buttons to push if they want to create anarchy? They know what they're doing. You believe that I can't speak tonight. Dr. Martin Luther King, do you think he was really assassinated just by the simple fact that somebody didn't like what he was doing? No. He wasn't assassinated for that. It was to create chaos. This man was trying to bring peace, and it was a very strategic and planned out thing. It's people like that who try to bring peace. Those are the ones that really suffer. That hurts the government. Let me tell you something. The day that black people and white people stop giving a crap what the color skins are, the government's in trouble. If we come together and say the heck with this junk, we're tired of fighting each other. Hell, let's even go beyond that. Gangs fighting gangs. KKK, you've got Crips and Bloods, and you got M13, all these gangs. If we ever figure out a day to love each other instead of trying to figure out why we should hate each other, the government's done, guys. They're through. They're absolutely through. I don't care what your skin color is. I brought out information last week or the week before, however long it's been. The days seem to be running together. Exposing that very situation, because that is not what we needed in a leader. And if anybody tries to sit here and say that I'm not fighting on all sides, you have an agenda. I told Brandon and Chad the other night, we were talking, and I'm like, these people who are looting and tearing stuff up, they're not wanting any kind of equality. They're not wanting to be heard. They don't have no message. They just want to see the world burn. I said, anybody who's wanting something beyond equality and to be heard and to be treated fairly, they have an agenda. And let me tell you something. Tearing down statues, it's not going to replace history. You cannot erase history. Those who are afraid or not willing to learn from history are deemed to repeat it. It's one of my favorite sayings of all time. You're not willing to learn from history, you're deemed to repeat it. And let's tell you how bad it's gotten. They're actually starting to tear down statues of people who helped free the slaves. Did you hear what I said? They're tearing down. Their message is that they're being oppressed and it's racial. They're tearing down statues of the men who led the North that actually helped free the slaves. Come on. I mean, come on. You want to piss off a racist, either on either side, tell them you love them. But then, we also got to remember a lot of white people died to free slaves as many as they died trying to contain slaves. Lots and lots of white people died to free slaves. Government don't want to talk about that either, because we all forget there was two sides of this war. And guess what? The right came out on top. North won. Slaves were freed. They should have never been there to start with. But, let's not forget about the Jews who were slaves for over 4,000 years. Should have never been slaves. Then Hitler comes along. I mean, there's always an oppression of some type. There's like right now in Africa, do you know that white families are being killed if they are not willing to give up their land in Africa? The government's going and literally killing them. Just killing them. Simply because they will not give up their land. Sounds familiar, right? Those who don't want to learn from their history are deemed to repeat it. What does that sound like? one thing that always is thrown up, which is very true, is that when Christopher Columbus came over, took it from the Native Americans, killed them. Terrible. Same thing's happening right now in other countries. Ain't nobody innocent, man. Nobody. We all got blood on our hands. We all fall short of anything that is resembling perfection. So it with all that said and done, we are always, like I say one more time, we're always trying to find the shortcomings of other people instead of trying to identify our own and changing ourselves. Man in the Mirror, one of my favorite songs, and it's the perfect message. That's what kind of like made this shirt here. I don't know how well y'all be able to see it. Let's see, pop that up there, and sit there. I came up with that saying, if you don't back the blue, how can they back you? You look at Atlanta right now, their police force is walking off. People are calling and begging for support from the police. People are being murdered. People are being robbed. Guess what? The police ain't there. You know why? Because when they try to do something, they're being called racist or they're being charged for murder. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Can't do it. We have to support our law enforcement. They do not go out seeking to kill somebody. Is there bad cops? Hell yes, there's bad cops. Are there good cops? You damn right they are. And I know a bunch. I know a hell of a lot more good cops than I know bad ones. But guess what? The system will work. The bad will reveal themselves in time. But we can't create bad and good people. That man did not want to shoot that guy. He was trying to put cuffs on him and subdue him peacefully. The guy made a choice. Now, granted, he was drunk. But he made a choice. And a choice cost him his life, but then he also cost the life of somebody else right now. And now you got to think about the lives around them that's affected. I talk about that all the time. It's the families, man. It's the families that pay for it. But do we have a racial problem? In my opinion, I've been in working for the public. Every job I've ever had, except for when I worked at Cedar Hill for a little while, every job I've ever had works in the public. Do I believe that people can be fake in person? Hell yeah. Of course they can. They can be very fake, and they could be one way but treat you another. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. If you want to go home, like if a black person comes up to me and they hate me because I'm white, but they're nice to me, they're cordial, and then as soon as I'm gone, they want to say whatever they want to say. I hate that son of a... I don't care. They made sure to do the adult thing. Don't let it affect how you treat that person, and vice versa. That's your choice. That's the way you choose to live your life. That's got nothing to do with me. It's about how you treat others. But I've been in the public eye since I was 15 years old, working for the public. I'll be honest with you guys. I cannot really come up with many situations. If I sat here and probably thought hard enough, I could probably think of some, probably on both sides, where black were mistreating whites and whites mistreating. Well, I absolutely do have one where I had a supervisor back when I worked for Bilo when I was 16 years old. She was a manager. She was a black female, and she didn't all white employees, all their hours were cut nearly down to like less than 5 hours a week. Hired new employees, they happened to be black, and they got 30 plus hours a week. New employees compared to employees who had been there for years. she was actually fired for making a racial statement to the store manager. It was recorded. By that time, I was gone. I quit and found me another job. As an example, I've had examples of, I've heard, supervisors make racial statements, of course, over all my years. I've heard it. It's out there, but it's nothing like the news portrays it to be. I don't ever see somebody coming in here who truly just hates black people because they're black. Am I saying they're out there? They're out there. Unfortunately, they're out there, and vice versa. There are people out there who hate Mexicans. There are people out there who hate Chinese. Do you know how much North Koreans hate South Koreans? I mean, they have a tremendous hatred for each other. Japanese, Chinese, same thing. All because of a made-up word by man. It's stupid. It's so stupid. It's so much easier. To love somebody, it takes effort to hate them. And I do. Like I say, anybody can come in and challenge me anytime. Come in anytime. I'll talk to you the same way I talk to the person in front of you, the person behind you. I'm going to talk to you the same way. And the way I talk to you is the way I talk to my family. Because I don't treat anybody any differently. But, James, you're correct, man. Police are in a lose-lose situation because no matter how they do handle the situation right now, they are being deemed either a racist, they didn't handle the situation good enough, or then they handled it too much. They have no middle ground right now. And I would not want to be a cop right now. There's no way. A black police officer shot in the back of the head for doing nothing, doing his job. And somebody just comes up behind him, blows his brains out. Then there's a video, and it could be the same cop. There's been so many. Another cop is shot. It might have even been a security guard. Shot, just dying in the street. All these people are standing around him. It's a black cop. He's dying. And he did die. All these people, you know what they're doing? This right here. They want to go viral. They're willing to let this man die. Nobody put their hands on him to try to stop the bleeding. Nobody tried to give him CPR. Nobody tried to do nothing. They stood there and watched this man die. You sick. It takes a sick person. Sick. I mean sick. Just like that white guy that was beat to death in the street. Sick. That is sick. I couldn't watch it. It's sick, man. It is sick. It's sick how much people hate each other. It's awful. I mean, it's. I tell you, I wish I could cuss sometimes. I want to cuss so bad some days. I just want to let it off, just let it out. But that does no good. That does no good. Just somebody could have helped him. I'll tell you this story real quick. This has been way back. I was probably in my low 20s. There was a house that caught on fire, and it so happened to be a family member of my girlfriend back then. This man did not realize that his wife, and I believe it was his grandkids, were gone to church. It was on a Sunday. His house caught on fire. And people knew that he was in there. And they found him trying to get back his body. He was trying to get back there to his grandchildren's bedroom. But he ended up dying right there. And what made me so mad? There was people all around, and I could hear them all. And I'll be honest with you, being young and dumb and stupid, I hollered out and said something, and it was not an appropriate time, not a time to do that, but I couldn't help it. I was so. But people were like, "Yeah, we knew he was in there, but we just couldn't get to." Nobody tried to go and kick the door in. Nobody tried to go and bust a glass in. Nobody tried to even hook up a hose pipe, something. Nobody did anything. They just stood around and watched the damn house burn while this man's inside of there. I heard them. And my daddy was standing right there next to me. I turned around and screamed down, why the F didn't you do something? They started yelling at me, cussing at me. I didn't even know this guy. Didn't know him at all. This man was trying to go and save his grandchildren and probably his wife. It's awful. It's awful, man. You know, it's terrible. Every life's precious, man. And I wish people would think more about that. Every life's precious. But to get to lighter parts here, let's make it a little lighter. The election is Tuesday. And to show, in my opinion, it's my opinion, okay? This is all Kyle. In my opinion, I believe Union County has showed that racial division doesn't exist here. Am I saying there's somebody in this town who's racist, that hate white people or hate black people? Of freaking course. But look at the votes that Carl got and the votes that Jeff got. And let me tell you something. I heard more black people talking about voting for Jeff. I heard a lot of white people talking about voting for Carl. And it was, you know how many times they talked about they based their vote on the color of their skin? 0. You know what they were basing it on? Their experience and their knowledge of them and knowing what they knew, like what their experience was. Like one of the big selling points for Jeff, he knows the law. He was a magistrate judge. Then you got Carl, who's been in law enforcement for a lot of years, who's been in this town for many years. He's a chief in Jonesville. He has the experience. Jeff has the experience. Tom has the experience. People are basing their choice for sheriff on that. Now, am I saying there's not some people out there who's voting for Carl because he's black? Absolutely. I would be a freaking fool to sit here and say no. Is there people out there who's voting for Jeff because he's white? Absolutely. But let's turn that around. How many people are out there voting for, let's say, Jeff or Tom? Because maybe they're mad at Carl. Because maybe he says something against one of their candidates. Or vice versa. They might be voting for Carl or Tom because they're mad at what Jeff said at one of their candidates. That is stupid. Vote for the person based on what they bring to the table. If you feel like that's what Union County needs, that's what you vote for. It's simple. Don't complicate it. And don't make a stupid choice based on something that they cannot control. Carl had no decision making whatsoever when he was born black. I had no control when I was born white. It was the way God wanted us to be. And you walk proudly with it regardless of what you think. You walk proud because that's what God wanted you to be. And that's who you really need to worry about. Because let me tell you something. When you come to your judgment, there ain't no free passes up there. Government don't run that, baby. Government don't run that. Okay. It is as exactly. Paige said, she would say we were born with that. I'm not sure. That's been a few minutes ago, 6 minutes ago. So I'll probably. Brandy says it's a sad world we live in today. But none of these men get a hold. Of a casket. 3 or more funerals. Police die in the line of duty. Don't get what George Floyd. And I agree with that, Jill. The flag giving of George Floyd's family. I'm not too crazy about that because he was not military. That should be a very sacred thing. You lay down your life, you get the folded flag. So I wasn't too crazy with that. People can have their opinions and that's just mine. I I wasn't a big fan of that. Did it drive me crazy? No. And I've talked to a few people, who serve, and they've said the same. That did tick me off a little bit, but I'll get over it. I get over it. And that's the way we all need to be. Is something worth you losing your temper to the point of where you affect your life for the negative? That's, I guess, a choice we all got to make there. But kind of got all that off, back in the water. The KC show is not gone. We were taking a break. And I'll tell you exactly why. I touched on this earlier. The reason that I took such a long break was that the fact that I knew that the chat was going to instantly go to talking about the sheriff's runoff. People were going to talk about votes that candidates got. I wanted everything to settle down. There wasn't no spiking of the ball here. I think Union had a great victory, but no need to rub salt into a wound that's already there. That honestly, a wound should not even exist. People spoke. You should respect and appreciate what people have said. You shouldn't take it so personally, but unfortunately people do. So I decided to take a elongated break to just let people get beyond that, get past it, and move on to other things. And so far they have. And that's awesome. All three of those candidates served Union County for many years. Little disdain in some areas, but regardless, 20 plus years from all of them for Union County. So respect's got to be given for that. Yeah, Jill, I agree. I agree 100%. I do. I do. Oh, no. I seen that, Sherry. No. First off, you don't want me to shine your shoes. That's first off, because I've never shined shoes. Well, that's a lie. I shined it when I was in ROTC back in high school, and I did terrible. You don't want me shining your shoes. But I did see a video where a group of people were talking about white people need to get on their knees and spit shine their shoes. First off, I don't want you spitting on my shoes. I know that's a turn of phrase, but she was actually spitting on their shoes. And I'm like, ugh, I would not want somebody to spit on my shoe. But no, that is not wanting equality. That's wanting superiority. And in the background, you could hear them saying over the speakers that this is the future of white people. You will be our slaves. Not this old boy. I can't speak for nobody else, not this old boy. But again, if you tremendously know what it meant to be a slave and you know the hardship and the pain and all that, why would you want anybody else to go through that? You would just simply want everybody to be treated the same and have peace. It makes no sense. Yeah, I seen that too, Terry. That'll never happen. Not here. That woman, she might have been with them because nobody else was doing it. It was just that one lady that I seen that. Yeah, that's now washing their feet. Now see, depending on how you look at that, now I know way they're looking at it is wrong, but washing of the feet is actually something of biblical times where, Jesus washed the feet of his apostles and things like that. That's a sign of love and respect to your fellow man. If that's the way you want to look at it, sure. If Jesus can get down and do it, we can too. But to do it in a form of wanting to be over somebody, to show superiority, no. To show love, sure. So Sure, Sherry. Absolutely. Hey, Pam. How you doing? Pam says, because cause you wouldn't make it. I'm not sure what she means by that. Not really sure what she means by it. I'm sure it's something very, very hateful. She is a very hateful lady, but I'll let her talk. I'll let her say what she wants to say. She's a very divisive, mean woman. She never says anything positive about anything that I say. I could say I have the cure for cancer right here in this drawer. She'll say, screw that. I want the cancer. She is not a nice lady. So she can talk, say what you need to say. But, if you want to express your hate, what do you think people are going to return with you with? If all you do is express hate, what do you think somebody's going to express back to you? You show love, you get love. You show hate, you're going to get hate. It's just the way human nature is. I've heard about that, Joan. I heard that we're possibly getting a Rose's store. It seems like it's been more rumor than factual. I have not seen anything of definite about a Rose's store. That would be nice. That would be very nice to have. Union County could really thrive off something like that. When we had Fred's, I always thought Fred's was a great store, but unfortunately the management back in that day, and I know this for a fact because had some family members who worked there, low man on the totem pole, stock, whatever. They were a lot of embezzlement going on in Fred's. And I'll be honest with you, I used to work at Rent-A-Center and I could never prove it, but I seen a lot of merchandise go out that back door. Lots of merchandise go out that back door. So it was unfortunate that Fred's couldn't make it. Even though they boomed in this town, they had a good business, but there was just too much embezzlement going on, and that's why they shut it down. I actually ended up talking to the district manager today. He came and closed it down. He told me everything that was happening. Wasn't good. And I don't know if anybody was ever charged with anything. I don't think they could ever put it on one person. It was almost like it was a collective group of embezzlement of merchandise, money, whatnot. It was terrible. Rose's is like, golly bummers. What is the name of that store? The one that's beside Rose's. Rose's is like a mixture store. They have all kinds of stuff. The one in Spartanburg has furniture, rocking chairs. They got clothes. It's kind of like a Big Lots, maybe in a smaller fashion. Not quite up to the level as Big Lots, but it's nice. If you ever want to see one, go over there. It's on it's on Pine Street, right there by Wade's. In that parking lot with Wade's, there's a Rose's there. It's nice. It's very nice. They actually have roses in there too. I don't know if it was named after the flower or person, but yeah. Hey, who knows? It'd be great. Tiffany Canuck Kerr says that's exactly what racism is when one race thinks it's superior. Exactly. And it doesn't just stop at race. It's, women got their right to vote in the 50s, I believe. 50s, the burning the bras, the equal rights, men had a superiority complex over women. There's still many countries in this world that have zero respect for women. That's one of the biggest killers that killed Hillary Clinton, was that people said, we can't put a woman in charge because these countries will not respect the fact that a woman is running our country. There was many other reasons of why I did not vote for Hillary Clinton. That was not one of them, because there are women who run other countries. You look at Britain, England, all them. They're ran by the Queen of England, and she gets a lot of respect, Tiffany says, does anyone have any idea of why they cleared all the land off right here by the old ESOP plant? They have completely cleared it right up to the creek on both sides. This is embarrassing. Which one is ESOP? I cannot remember which plant it's called. They changed names so much. I can't keep up anymore. Which one's the ESOP plant? New place opening up on Main Street. That is embarrassing as well. It just had a ribbon cutting the other day. Jerry was telling me about it, and I've done forgot the name of it. The election literally is taking every freaking brain cell that I've got in my head, which not many to start with. I'm sure somebody in the chat's going to let us know. I kept hearing that Hillary Clinton right now is on trial. I don't know how true that is. There's literally zero coverage of it if there is, which is no surprise. The old Midway plant across from the skating rink. Oh yeah. There. You remember, guys? I was kind of complaining, not too long back, that there's plans of building a new spec building when we already have a 2 million plus spec building out there that has not been leased, rented, or occupied since the day it was built. And our brilliant idea is to build another one. So that's what I believe it is. Could be wrong, but that's what I believe it is. Yes, Belmont Farms. Those are good people. Got good meat too. If it's the same people, I'm pretty sure it is. And the depot. I voiced my opinion about the depot. First off, you got to get rid of a council member that sits on the city who's trying to close down multiple businesses around the clock. That's your first step. Got to get rid of her. And then we have got to start establishing more businesses, and we have got to get alcohol sales available on Sundays. I don't drink, but I do know what alcohol sales on Sundays could do for our town. That's third. Fourth is we have got to start giving the small guys, us, the small businesses, we have got to start giving them tax breaks, not the major million and billion-dollar corporations. We have got to start lowering the taxes and utility rates that businesses, small businesses in this town get. Small businesses literally have no chance of making it in Union County because of the rate that we get, the tax rate that we get. It's impossible. The taxes that we have to pay a year, it's almost impossible to make it in Union County. You don't have enough business, people-wise, to support such a tax that you administer and such a utility rate on small business. Yes, the bakery on Belmont Farm. I got to get by there, man, because I love sweets, man. I still got a free coffee over there, or free, I believe it's free chocolate, hot chocolate or coffee at the espresso place. It's so hard to get over there to Main Street, man. Every county that touches us, James, every county that touches Union County serves alcohol on Sundays. Every single one. Sherry, small business is getting a pounding, absolute pounding. But back to the depot. The depot is a great idea for a Main Street that's already established. Main Street is not established yet. We don't know what we want to be. Don't forget, guys, there was I can't remember his name. I don't want to misspeak. Was it Wicks? And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. I think I am wrong. It was a black gentleman. I cannot remember his name because I've actually, but anyways, he wanted to open up a bar on Main Street, and that got fought tooth and nail. That got fought hard by council members, by the mayor, by preachers, and, what's the big deal? What is literally the big deal? If they want to drink on Main Street, you know what? Main Street is this big. Guess what's at the end of Main Street? Sheriff's office. If we're going to have something happen, wouldn't you want it to be right down the street from law enforcement? I never understood that whole argument. It passed judgment. Again, I'm going to go back to these preachers who passed judgment on people who wanted to drink. You know, that's not your job. Your job is to attend to your flock. That's it. That's your job as a preacher, to uphold a community morals. But when those morals you take upon yourself to believe that it's bad for an entire community instead of allowing the community themselves to speak for themselves, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have no right to do that. I don't want nobody speaking for me. I don't care who you are. You may be the greatest preacher I've ever seen in my life. I don't want you speaking for me, though. I want you to respect my opinion. If you don't like it, you tell your church. You tell people you talk to. You go. But going and expressing like it's a better thing for the town itself, like you're speaking for the whole town, I can't do that. It's not your place. Let the town speak. Let people vote. People can speak and think for themselves. Yeah, because you got the cotton barn up there that's still pretty new. You know, we got a lot of good businesses on Main Street. It's just unfortunate that we just don't get support. Like it literally, very little support for these businesses. It's hard. Yeah, Vernon, they're afraid of college kids getting drunk. And I mean, man, listen, I don't, because I didn't drink. I don't, I never did any of that. But I promise you, kids want to go get drunk, they'll find the alcohol. They'll get it. They'll get it. And if their complete motive is to get drunk on Main Street, they will get drunk on Main Street. It's just is what it is. Exactly, Sam. I mean, they go and they spend that money outside of our town, and thank you for watching, brother. They go to Piggly Wiggly, and then let's take it a step further. Let me tell you something. Somebody who craves alcohol that much, unless they're having a party or something, but let's just say somebody who's craving alcohol that much that they're willing to drive that far to go get it. You don't think they're going to go, psh. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they won't. But you don't think they're going to pop one and throw one back on the way home? There you go. Very possible. And I will take this time to thank Mr. Sam. He's here in the chat. Thank him so much for what he's done for this town. We talk more so out my back door when I see him. He man, I tell you what, he needs to open up a garage, because let me tell you something. That man maintains his cars back there. You hear me? That guy, he maintains his vehicles. And that's where me and Patty and we really would see him throw our hands up. But Sam has ran his office with a lot of pride. He never brought embarrassment to this town in any way, shape, or form. He did an incredible job, and I hate that he's going, but it very well could be a blessing for him. At the state of things, timing is everything. But I thank you, sir, for everything. You're a tremendous guy. In my opinion, and I really appreciate what you've done for Union County. You've given Union County a lot of your life. I'm sure a lot of late nights of wife worrying and things like that. And it takes a lot to to live that life. And just want to tell you, I appreciate you and wish you the best of luck with your endeavors beyond this. Hopefully, it's still in law enforcement of some type. If you choose to do that, he might just choose to go fishing every day. Who knows? So, whatever you choose to do, we just wish you the best of luck. So thank you for that. And, just really, really appreciate that. But, it's his son. Well, he'll pass on the word. He'll pass on the word either way. But I think he's a great guy. I really hate to see him go. And Wade Hampton. Hate to see Wade Hampton go. His wife is a sweetheart. If you've never met Wade Hampton's wife, man, y'all are missing out on a sweet lady. She does a lot for this town, man. She literally delivers food to people who cannot. I'm not sure if she still does it now, but I know she used to do it. She used to deliver food for people who couldn't get out of their homes. She was an incredible lady. And Wade Hampton, great judge. Let me tell you something. Judges and cops, that is a no appreciation job, because you're going to make, when you go to a scene, you're going to have a 50-50 chance. You're going to piss that person off and you're going to make that one happy. Think about that. Every day of your life, you're going to make at least 1 out of 2 people possibly mad at you, because you can't please everybody. Now, every now and then, I'm sure they probably come with a solution that made everybody happy, but most of the time you're making somebody mad. Takes a lot. That's all right, Sam. I thought it was you. I thought it was your dad, but you'll pass on the word, man. I appreciate it. Either way, I meant what I said. Hate to see him go. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jill. Thank you. That's right, Philip. Philip says you can't legalize morals. People will do what they are going to do, whether they buy it on Saturday or Sunday. That's right. And, the girls, the Bantam girls, was that ever confirmed? I can't remember. I'm telling you guys, I got so much on my plate. I can't remember too much. Am I wrong? Was that they were killed by a drunk driver? Is that not right? And if I ain't mistaken, they were kind of out in the country a little bit. Now I could be wrong. I might be wrong. I probably am wrong. I'm not sure, but I think that's pretty accurate. But it's drinking and driving is just stupid. It's dangerous. I love my uncle. He don't like me talking about it because he's a different person now. He is saved. He's battling cancer, and prayers to you, Daryl. Love you a lot. I'm going to go see him tomorrow. But back in the day, Daryl, he loved his beer. He loved it. But you know what? He would always have somebody drive him. And 9 times out of 10, I was with him so much, it was usually me. As soon as I was able to start driving on my own, man, he loved it. And I loved it because I knew I had no care or love for alcohol, and I didn't mind driving him at all. Keep him safe, keep other people safe. Though he would tell you that probably his drinking and driving would probably been better than my driving at a young age. I was not the best of drivers. Okay, so he was drunk, and it was on Highway 295, so I got 50-50. 295, it's a little country in some areas, but that's a very heavily populated road. But drunk driver, you know what I mean? So it's bad. But guys, I think I got off my chest pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about tonight. We will be bringing the last interviews for Carl and Jeff Monday. It'll be aired Monday, probably around toward the evening hours. Let everybody get home, probably about 6, 7 o'clock. It's not a long interview. They're both probably going to be about 5 to 10 minutes apiece, and it's going to be all in kind of one interview. I'm gonna edit it down and everything, and because we pretty much heard from them, but I wanted them to have another word before Tuesday. We'll hear from that Monday, and I'll be honest with you, their answers were so similar. With their questions, and they were not here together. They were extremely similar, because I believe they're both on the same track to want to do what's right for Union. So y'all see it when y'all hear it. their answers were incredibly similar. So could be a good thing there. That's unfortunate, Daniel. Yeah, I got hit by a guy. He might as well been drinking and driving, and he was racing another guy, and he veered off and hit me head on pretty much and made me flip 4 times. That's worse than a drunk driver sometimes, is somebody out there racing. So I understand what you mean, man. It's pain. But guys, I love you. I'm gonna get back to making some shirts. I'm sure I've made a few people mad. That's what I do, it seems like. They don't want to hear any of the things that are positive and on their side. They only want to hear the negative things, and then when they start hearing the positive, they cover their ears. People like that you can't help. And if you're like that, you need to change your ways. Start loving, quit hating. Your life will be better. You'll notice that your quality of life will be a lot better. But I'm going to get back to making shirts. Here are some samples that we're doing. That one is very popular. This one here is very popular as well. Just any kind of designs, guys. Anything that you may have. This is ink print. It's not vinyl, so it stretches. It lasts a long time. It's good stuff. Y'all let me know if you have anything that you want to order, and we'll try to see if we can get it done for you pretty quickly. We got out a bunch of shirts today. Some people were placing orders today, and we happen to have their shirt size. We ran out of shirts. I got to order more. We happen to have their shirt size and exactly what they wanted. We were getting their shirts to them in less than an hour. I mean, come on, who can do that? But y'all all have a wonderful. Show them the stretch, Brittany says. Okay, I will show them the stretch. She loves it, man. She loves the fact that you can stretch these shirts. Let me. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So, as you see, I stretched it, and it comes back to its regular form. No breaking, no cracking. That is a big upsell, especially to people who have kids. They'll be pulling and tugging on the shirts. They'll rip the vinyl off. They'll crack the vinyl. They can pull on this all day long. It's not going to hurt it. So, there you go, Brittany. Stretched out. I'm watching it now on the screen. There it goes. Yeah, vinyl would rip. Vinyl's still a good source to get shirts made. We're just giving an alternative. That's all it is. It's just an absolute alternative. Of course. All white on black. Oh yeah, I got that. That's easy. That's real easy. So yeah, you just give us a holler. We'll take care of you. Guys, thank y'all for watching. And we'll be back Monday with the interviews with Jeff and Carl. They are pre-recorded. They had a busy weekend, so I didn't want to try to get them both in here for a long hour broadcast. They got so much going on. They've already done an interview with us. I just said, come in, do a quick last little interview, touch base back with people. And they both agreed. And we will get Tom back on as soon as this runoff's over. Right now, the attention needs to be dedicated to them two, and then it'll be to Tom and whoever wins. So I don't think anybody said anything, but just in case, I have not forgotten about Tom. But right now, Tom's just kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting till this is over. Then his race begins, and we will have him on a lot, I'm sure. He's a great guy. Okay, Tracy, I'll be here. That's right, Philip. Listen, man. There's some things on here that and when I tell you something, you've heard me say it how many times a night. I think it's this. I may be wrong because I don't know anything. I hate it when somebody guesses at an answer or pretends that they do know everything. I love to hear it sometimes, not all the time, but I love to hear it from somebody like who's been sitting in a position for a long time. I ask them a question, and they say, I don't know. I'll have to find out for you. I love that. I love that. That means they're still willing to learn. They're still willing to learn, and they're still willing to listen and grow. So Great point there, Philip. But guys, y'all have a wonderful night. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. And if you have a problem with addiction, with drugs, anything, and you need help, you can contact me. I will find you help. I will find you the proper help that you need. Sometimes it's just a talk with someone. Sometimes it's an intervention with family. Sometimes you need professional help of licensed people to help you with that. Whatever it takes, I will find you that. But guys, we have got to start fighting this drug epidemic that is killing our town. Corona is a joke compared to this opioid addiction. It's ridiculous. That is the real fight. That is what we need to be racist against, is opioid addiction. I cannot stand that word because I can't say it good, but that is the problem. That there's things that we try to make into a problem, they may be a problem, but that is an actual problem. It's killing so many people, so many young people too damn early. There's already enough things already killing people too young. My dad died of a massive heart attack at the age of 64. That is young. His dad before him died at 57. Massive heart attack. Too damn young. My aunt just passed away. I believe she was, I don't want to guess her age because I definitely don't want her to haunt me, because let me tell you something. If you know Linda Sue, she'll do it. But she was young. She was extremely young. And there's just too much youth dying, guys. So love y'all. Pray for each other. Help each other. Build upon each other. Quit trying to bring us down. And we'll have a better future together. Guys, y'all have a good night.